Welcome, horror fans, to HHN 365 Episode 2. I'm here with Duff. Duff, we made an episode 2.
That's the first I've ever made in a podcast.
Right? I think we're better than half the podcast. Usually they only make one episode.
We're successful.
We made an episode 2.
We can retire after this episode.
All right.
Collect that pension.
Well, so we are now on iTunes. Sorry if you tried to listen to us and we weren't on iTunes yet. It took a little bit. We are on iTunes now. If you go to your pod grabber, we are probably there.
Pretty much all of them. Stitcher Radio.
Yeah, it
Spotify.
took a little bit. I apologize. So go back and listen to episode 1 if you're waiting for us to be on your pod grabber. We are there now. So go back and listen. For today's show, we are going to do what we talked about at the end of last show. We have brought in a newbie, someone who has never been to Halloween Horror Nights. We're going to pick his brain. We have brought him to Halloween Horror Nights. We're going to see what he thought about. We're going to do a little bit of news and history, and then we're going to get right into that segment. And then we're going to end with, like we are going to end most of our shows, at least during the season, our current top 10. So let's get right into it. So news, there is definitely some news to discuss. I believe on last Friday they opened a brand new Stranger Things experience. We have not got to check it out yet, so we're not going to go into spoilers because we don't want to spoil ourselves. We didn't research it too much, but it is there. Go check it out. We're going to go check it out and then give you a more detailed trip report about it. But we're not going to do that yet. But it's there. Go check it out.
And then where was it located?
It's located at the horror store, the old... gift shop of the T2 in Hollywood, right where Vanity Ball is. So you have to go through Vanity Ball to get to it. Definitely go check it out. So we're going to go straight into history. But before we do, our history segment's actually going to be run by our special guest because he's a big theme park nerd. That is, we're here with Nico Wells.
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. Thanks for joining us today.
And he actually wanted to run our history segment, and so he's going to do a history segment on the history of Ghostbusters at Universal Orlando.
That's right. Once again, just thank y'all for having me on. I really appreciate it. I've been listening since the beginning.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Like what I hear, and I'm excited to be here. I'm also excited here to talk about Ghostbusters. I really like the film Ghostbusters. I actually saw it when it came back into theaters a couple of years ago. I really just like that film a lot. But at Universal, Ghostbusters had been there since the beginning. That was like one of the IPs that Universal was trying to grab to have in the park from the beginning. So they had walk-around characters, and in fact, one of the walk-around characters was Wayne Brady, because he lived in Orlando at the time when he used to work at Sac Comedy Club and all that. He was one of the performers in the park for Ghostbusters. He was also in the Ghostbusters Spooktacular, which was a stage show that took place where Jimmy Fallon is now, so that area. There was also a second show that ran kind of along the same time as Spooktacular called Street Busters, where basically Beetlejuice would come out and do his all like, hey, look at that, guys over there, I'm going, baby. You know how Beetlejuice talks. We've all seen the movie. So he would come out and then he would take control of the Ghostbusters because the Ghostbusters were trying to take him down for some reason. The plot's a little iffy there. It's just a reason to get a bunch of people to dance to Harry Belafonte music.
Like most theme park shows.
Like most
the plot is
to let's get them to dance. The last thing that was Ghostbusters in the park before, obviously this year, was Extreme Ghostbusters: The Great Fright Way. It was very similar to Street Busters. That only ran from about 2002 to about 2005. And since then, we really didn't see much Ghostbusters in the park. I mean, you'd see the Ecto-1 every once in a while, but you really wouldn't see actual Ghostbusters in the park anymore.
Until
now.
HHN.
Well, at least for another 4 weeks.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We'll see what happens after that.
I think it'll be back. The people are loving Ghostbusters, but we'll get into that here in a second.
So, as I'm sure you guys kind of heard there, he's quite the history buff for theme parks.
Yep.
Theme park nerd, as you would like, I'm sure.
Have a lot of things there, yeah.
So, let's just get right into the segment here. Talk about your first experience at Halloween Horror Nights. First of all, just kind of let us know, when you go to theme parks, what are you looking for? What kind of theme parks do you like? What kind of experiences do you like?
Well, the theme park, currently my favorite theme park is Disney's Animal Kingdom, and that might tell you a little bit about what I'm looking for in a theme park. I love the immersion. I love good settings and stuff like that. I like, about a story, and I kind of like how things kind of get together. Even if things don't really fit together, I like how things kind of just bob and weave, and it's an enjoyable experience. Also, I like to have fun when I'm at a theme park. You know, that's two of the things, like immersion and fun. And if I'm having both those things, then I'm having a good time. Like I said, that's pretty much what I'm looking for there. Yes, definitely history. Never went to Horror Nights.
What haunts have you been to before, if any?
I went to, So I remember going to the first Howl-O-Scream at Busch Gardens, Tampa.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was the first Howl-O-Scream until I saw a billboard this year that said 20 Years of Fear. And I'm like, wait a second. I don't remember going to that. I didn't go to any houses because I was too scared.
How old were you?
Oh, God. I would have been 7 or 8 years old. Yeah. Right. So I would have been about 7 or 8 around this time. Because it was kind of like around my birthday. My birthday's in October, so the spooky October, spooky birthdays. And so I also went to a thing called Phobia, and that was at Wild Adventures. I went to there when I was like 10 years old. Wild Adventures is a terrible, terrible theme park that no one should ever visit, so don't even worry about looking that up. Also went to an individual haunted house, kind of like an independent one in Atlanta called Netherworld. And I see Netherworld sometimes is like popular, like voted like the best haunt in the world and stuff. It really isn't compared to what I saw at Halloween Horror Nights. It's fantastic there.
So you've been to some haunts, so why not HHN before? What was the thing that was holding back from...
Probably fear. I've heard
Fear the icon
stories.
From
So I remember... do y'all remember this? The Travel Channel like special that was about like the Islands of Adventure haunt. And like that always stuck with me with that man riding the Pennyworther around and the top hat. I was just very scared. And then just reading things.
He's always there. Yeah.
I was...
You just missed him this year.
Darn. But like that, and you know the Toon Lagoon scare zone looked very creepy, and of course the Jurassic Park haunt that
Evolution.
they had there,
Evolution,
and Maximum Carnage I think was another one that was there. Yeah,
so want to see some dead superheroes? This is where you go.
I guess that just always made me scared, and I would always like read reviews and stuff of it to try to figure out like the scariest thing I had ever done really is the Haunted Mansion. That's about the level of of spook
your
for
fear
me.
level.
I was more
You're more spooked.
I was more Mickey's and not so scary, kind of like Halloween kind of guy. I'm more of a fan of the candy and the like the wacky macabre like Elvira and stuff. That's more of my speed.
So I take you don't really watch horror movies.
No, I mean unless you count like the Addams Family, a horror movie.
Okay.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay. So no experience with any of these IPs this year.
Ghostbusters would be the only one I had experience with, and Universal Classic Monsters. I do like those films, especially Mummy. Mummy is definitely one of my more favorite Universal Classic films. For that, and you know everyone's seen Dracula and Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. That's right. I really like Bride of Frankenstein. So it was cool to see that, but I've never seen Us. I've seen one episode of Stranger Things. I think I've seen Killer Clowns on cable like one time. You know, back when everyone had cable. It's just, I didn't have an attachment to any of the IPs besides Ghostbusters. And Ghostbusters was the first house I did, and then that really started me off on a fun trail while I was there.
So did you have any expectations coming in about what you were going to see? Or were you just kind of like, I'm going to be terrified?
So I knew I was going to go this year because I got the Premier Pass or Premium, whatever the top level pass is, that gets you a free Horror Nights ticket. I'm like, well, I might as well take advantage of this and go. I didn't really do any research beforehand to like look through there because I kind of wanted to be there. I didn't know like the level of scares or jump scares or the level of immersion or anything that I was going to see in there. And I was very, very surprised by how excellent everything was done. Like it really is a premier haunt. I've never experienced anything like this, and it's really cool. And I think it might have made me a haunt fan.
And then we just kind of want to get into like your full thoughts in a minute. I do want to say it was really impressive that you and another friend were able, on your first ever trip, to get through all 10 houses, Marathon of Mayhem, That's a lot of people don't do that.
I think we went
without Express Pass. Should I mention no Express?
Yeah, we were thinking about getting Express Pass, but then we looked at it and we pretty much timed it out there. The longest wait we had, if you count the stay and scream, right? Is that what it's called? The little holding pen. Yeah. So the stay and scream area, if you count that wait, my longest wait was Ghostbusters, and I don't think that was more than 45 minutes. It was the longest wait I had there, and then from there on out, we waited to do Stranger Things at the very end of the night. I got to do Classic Monsters twice. That was the only house I was able to do twice, and I'm glad I did that house twice.
Fantastic house, which they already know we love.
Yes.
I think I had a little episode last time.
Yeah.
I got a little too excited there.
Waxing poetic.
So
it's a great house.
We know you're a pretty big Ghostbusters fan. What do you think about the Ghostbusters experiences? Well, pretty much just the house, but
I really liked it from the beginning. It was neat. Being a fan of that, it's cool how you were going through the different scenes and stuff. That's not what I was expecting. I was maybe thinking of like it was going to be like an adventure within the Ghostbusters universe, but it was just retelling of the film, which is good because that's probably the easiest way to get someone into the Ghostbusters thing, which it is fun to do that. So you get there with the stacked books and stuff like that, and then I started to notice like little corridors, like little tiny little areas where I'm like, I don't want to go this way, and then jump scares started happening. So I'm like, and it got me a little on edge through there. I will say what I can see from a first time goer, and working in theme parks and being around theme parks and looking through there, observing the operations of how they go through, I feel like I should have gone to Ghostbusters again because there were a lot of scenes in there that just didn't line up. Like I felt like I missed a scene and I think that might be one of the downfalls of that house. Is because there's a lot of great scenes in there. Like the one where they're like shooting Slimer, that's great. I love the effects in there. I love the effects of Yzma, the one that looks like David Bowie at the end. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Right. She yelled at me and said, "Are you a god?" And of course, learning from the movie, I went, "Yeah." And then she die, and she like threw her hands at me and stuff, and that was cool. That I just wish some of the other scenes would have lined up a little bit better in there. With that, I felt like I was getting rushed to the house a little too much, and I kind of felt that at every single house. And I might have some more opinions on that a little bit later, but Ghostbusters, pretty solid house. It was a good way to start off the night, and just the level of theming and everything in there. Also, the Slimers were really cool, and some cool effects in there.
Real quick, any like memorable scares in there?
I remember looking over at Slimer getting shot, and then coming around the corner, one of the other Ghostbusters pops out and goes like, "Hey," like that. So I thought that was a little funny scare.
I think you hit a few good points that I would like to talk about for a newbie, a first-timer, about the experience. I really feel like some of the things you hit really makes it obvious why Halloween Horror Nights is more than just kind of a one-time event, because you went and you were there from the beginning to when it closed, right? And you were able to hit every single house, which is pretty rare. And you were able to hit every single house and only do one repeat once. And a lot of the houses, the timing was just kind of off. So you really need, I would say, to really to enjoy Halloween Horror Nights the right way. You need to kind of get a frequent fear, and you need to have multiple runs to really start to realize what these houses are like. It's the problem with Halloween Horror Nights is that it's kind of called the Halloween Horror Nights conga line. If you're filming with other haunts, where they kind of put you in as like 3 or 4 guests and they time it.
Yeah, that's what they did at Netherworld.
And then you're kind of only going in as a small group, and there's no one in front of you and no one behind you. If you haven't experienced Halloween Horror Nights, they don't really able to do that. So you're in just a conga line where you're just kind of moving forward, and you kind of see someone scared in front of you, and there's a thing like a reset, and it's just about 10-second, 15-second break, and you just kind of walk past the scare. That happens a lot in Halloween Horror Nights, unlike other haunted houses where the resets are timed with your group. This is a problem with Halloween Horror Nights, so you really do need to start experiencing it a couple of times.
Yeah, and I definitely will begin a frequent fear. I don't have one this year, but I'll definitely get one next year, especially since I had just one free ticket for this one. I'll try to maybe make it out one more time this year and just hit the houses that I really want to hit again. But yeah, I can definitely see. I wish they would improve that. One thing I do wish that I wish Universal would do is instead of having their their team members move people along, that kind of breaks the immersion for me. What would be cool, like say in the Nightingale's house, you have like one of the Centurions or Roman soldiers be like, keep moving forward.
Yeah, I do think
the only problem is I think a lot of guests would not take that. It would seem like part of the house to them and not so much like a stern like, hey, keep going. I do think that sometimes they're a little trigger happy.
They're quick to move you forward if you're just still walking.
If the person in front of you runs, there's just like, go. It's like, I'm not running behind them.
I'm not going to do that.
I think we could talk about this later, but there are things that I think they could do better.
They're very trigger happy sometimes, and not everyone. Not when they're. It's slow. I would say to really get the best run through for a house, I would say try to go while they're wrapping up, because you can really.
And they do start pulsing. Occasionally. I want to say Yeti. This year, I've had it once this year. And I believe it was Yeti that they were pulsing, where they send the groups in every time. Stagger.
We've been in a couple of houses when we went late together.
Oh, well, we just kind of like, that was like walking in alone, too.
Yeah, Universal Monsters, I know we hit that one, basically.
My second run on Universal Monsters was excellent because of that, because it was just us, and I was able to walk through there at that time. Y'all want to start talking about Monsters?
I was going to say, since we know you like it, let's go for it.
I really like Monsters a lot. Really like that. Fantastic house, and just everything from the beginning. It's not a cohesive story, mind you, but that really is made up for the fact that the sets are excellent, the character design is all excellent, everything is distinct, and just going through there and seeing that was just amazing. And it was also frightening in some areas, like people jumping out of places I didn't know they could jump out of, because not being at a haunt like this, not knowing, because most of the haunts that I go to, it's either someone's from the side or someone, sometimes from above. But from there, I had people come up from, the bottom. There were, I could see, trap areas where people would jump out at you at Monsters like that. My favorite part of Monsters probably was the Phantom of the Opera scenes. Going through there, anything with a Hall of Mirrors just makes me go, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to go through here. And it really freaks me out. And those two-way walls that they do, that effect, that is so good. It amazes me, how good it was done through here. And, I'm just really impressed by Monsters.
Did you catch any of the bungee effects in there?
What do you mean?
And Wolfman
bungee? I don't think I ever got the Wolfman bungee effect. Was Dracula on a bungee? No, I know Dracula was up on the podium and was eating the victim.
You have Wolfman and then Quasimodo. Thank you. Yeah. So the Wolfman scene where I don't want. Are you gonna go in this here? Should I spoil it for you?
No. I just So just watch out for bungee. So what? They come out and they.
I won't say anymore. Okay. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably know what I'm talking about, and hopefully it gets him good next time.
Oh dang! I'll have to hit Monsters again then for that. Well, maybe y'all might know this. The Bride of Frankenstein, is that actually her screaming?
No.
That's not the actress screaming.
That's not
it sounds different. It sounded different than both.
I mean, I could be wrong.
And her throat was vibrating when I saw her scream like that.
I think it's audio, but
because in houses, just because you do it so often,
exactly.
It's almost always audio. The only time you actually get actual vocals is typically out in scare zones. They stopped doing that in houses a long time ago.
If you're a character and you know the answer to this, definitely tweet us. I know there are definitely characters who do Bride of.
I'm pretty confident with our answer, but maybe they did switch it up with this one.
So my two favorite from all of Halloween Horror Nights were at Monsters. It was Bride of Frankenstein, that was my favorite character, and Dracula. Dracula's character design is so cool and so scary at the same time. I really enjoy that, just with the blood just dripping down his mouth and stuff like that. I wasn't expecting it to be this gory, and that I thought, because they say it's that I thought they would keep things there, but no, there were lots of points when it was ooh, this is definitely R-rated, especially when coming to horror like that.
And then, how'd you feel about the medley of monsters? We'll call it. Where how each monster has its own separate scene.
Yeah.
And then you get towards the end, and suddenly they're all together? How'd you feel? Did that still feel cohesive to you, or did that kind of break the stories?
No,
you were
it
following?
felt like that was natural to have them all there at the end, because I mean that's how Universal really wants to do that. And I will say, if Universal treats their monsters like this, then we are definitely in for a good time once Epic Universe opens.
Oh yeah,
And for that, and you all heard about that, right?
Oh,
where
yes.
it's going to be the Kuka arm
Yep.
through Frankenstein's castle now. It's not Dracula anymore.
Yeah, I
it's
heard
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Oh
That's right.
man, that could like the first ever horror dark ride.
I'm
That's
excited.
going to be
Yeah.
cool.
I'm very excited.
All right. What else did I really like there?
Well, let's go to something.
Yeah, let's move on to a
Not you
different.
didn't like so much. Maybe not your least favorite, but just something that you kind of were like, I don't know. I
So
expected
not my least
more.
favorite.
Not your least favorite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because
we'll
we
save
don't
it.
want to ruin the rankings yet.
Yeah,
We're going to do your
okay.
top 10 at the
Yeah.
end.
So I definitely have a least. I will say this: I liked every house but one.
Okay, so we
All
will.
right.
I didn't like every house, but I liked every house but one.
So give us a house that you were a little disappointed in, maybe.
I would say Stranger Things.
Okay.
All right.
Mainly because, and I don't know if it's because I hadn't seen the IP, because with another house, that didn't have an effect on me at all. But with Stranger Things, I don't know, it felt a little staticky to me. Going through
If
there.
you listen to the first episode, you know.
The great debate. We're going to
I-
keep going back to this.
I don't think there's any debate that it is static.
No,
I think
I'm
the
not
debate
debating
is
this.
the effect it has on your enjoyment.
I do like the strobe effects though, but it just felt like there was a lot of things that were just staticky like that, and also that the arcade machine said Stranger Things 2, and I'm like, but isn't it 3 this year?
Well, that
Or
was to
going
lead
through
in.
like that.
So I know he like you say, he's only seen one episode. He doesn't
Right.
understand too much. So
Yeah.
you reach a certain point where you go from season 2 to season 3.
Oh,
Where Eleven
okay.
is sitting
Yeah.
in front of the TV and it goes.
Basically,
Yeah.
that was just like a room that was announcing you were going into season 2.
season
It was just
Oh,
it was
okay. Because there were cool scenes in there, but it is really funny how, because you know their faces and stuff, and just seeing like the kid with the baseball cap who has the lisp just like going down thing in the radio, and he's like, "I'm on the radio."
That's
like,
the best description of Dustin I've ever heard.
They're coming in the buff. The buff is coming. They're coming. We're in the buff, and like that. And that's.
I love
all
that
I
he's
can-
not seen any Stranger Things. This makes it
so much better.
There's that. There's the bald-headed girl. There's the one where like their faces explode and stuff like that. It smelled like maple syrup in there, which, you know, I've seen the memes about like waffles and stuff, but I was like, oh, okay, that was made me a little sick to the stomach. I did like the part where like you're in like one of the rooms of the house, and it had a bunch of VHS tapes there, and I was like stopping to look at all the VHS tapes to see if there was
Of
like
course you
anything
were.
fun in there. I was like, "Where's Earthquake?"
I mean, I did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's okay. So
But Stranger Things, yeah, I did like the strobe effect, because I did like the disorientation of that in there at certain points, and the music and sound design was okay, but it definitely wasn't my favorite of the night. It was still fun to go through, and I guess if you are a fan of the IP, then it's definitely probably a good house. You probably like it better.
So let's just go to the next big IP we're missing, and Us. Right
Us.
next door to Stranger Things.
Now, Us is a good way to show people who have not seen the movie, which I bet you a lot of people there have seen Stranger Things but have not seen Us.
I think you're right.
I mean, I don't know how much money Us made with that. I didn't see Us or Them. I'm not Them. Get Out.
Get Out.
Sorry, not Us. You know the Jordan. The next one's going to be you. Us, Them, you. I really like that. The sound design, the set design, and just how they made it look like you were walking through like these different houses and stuff. Because there's that one where in the living room, and it's just so clean in there, and just the sound, just the sound pulsating through. And are we talking spoilers or anything?
Yeah,
there?
You can
Yeah.
talk spoilers, yeah.
Yeah, so the last scene is what really gets me, when everybody's lined up and they're all holding those scissors, and I'm like, oh shit, oh no.
Yeah, he was very
And they're
scared.
going,
He was very scared.
they all go boom, and I'm like, ah. So I get very anxious walking through those houses. Like, I'm turning red just thinking about it right now.
It's a reoccurring thing for Nico that he was scared in every single house.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
spoiler alert, he was scared in every single one.
I was
It's
I was
true.
very scared in one house, and we'll get to that. We'll tell that story in a moment. But Us is very good, especially straight from the beginning. Never experienced it. I did like how when they were trying to cue you to go inside, all the the Christmas lights above, I did like how that kind of was setting the mood before actually going in, because that is a bit of a complaint of mine, I would say, is like the house starts as soon as you go in. You go from, especially if it's still kind of day outside, you go boom, boom, right in there. What I liked about Us is that it kind of got you into the mood a little bit more before the haunting and stuff actually started. I really hope Us stays around. I don't know how often houses stay around, or if that's even a thing.
So they don't. Horror Nights, you're
Okay.
going to switch every year.
But Stranger Things was last year here
Season
too.
1
Right?
was last
Season
year.
1.
So,
it was
they
a
might keep the
completely
same
different
IP,
house.
but it's going to be based off different
Okay.
stories.
Yes.
So,
So if it's a single solo movie, you're not going to see it 2 years
Right.
in a row.
okay.
Not to say I don't predict Us to ever come back, but you
No.
could see a solo movie appear in separate years that are spread out.
You could
but
see a
that's about
Scare Zone potentially. You could see if it's Us becomes a huge hit, you could see a show or something. But you would never see another Us house. Now, Walking Dead, you've seen Walking Dead a bunch of different times.
Yeah, because
you've
that's
seen
stayed
Purge
popular.
a bunch
Way
of different
too many.
times. You've seen American Horror Story had a couple of different houses, I believe.
Oh, really?
Going
but
through the different
all
seasons.
different seasons. Yeah, you'll see Universal Monsters is obviously, but again, they're all little bit different layouts, different houses.
Okay, cool.
And then going back to what he said about getting some sort of rush of fear, frequent fear, a recurring past come multiple times. That's another reason it's important, because it's not like another event like Housecream where you come back and your house is going to be there next year, the same or maybe a little altered. That's not happening here.
All right. Well, I'll definitely need to plan to go again this
So
year. 'cause
Universal
I do want
Monsters, don't expect it again.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang. Okay. Yeah.
Not
But-
that exact same house. We'll see
Okay.
the monsters again. We'll probably
They'll
in
come back.
about 5 years.
Okay.
A house will be themed similarly, but it won't be the same layout.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I mean, if they make another house like Us, where it's more psychological instead of, I mean, it did have its share of jump scares, but it was more the music and everything in there. Just was creepy and really got to me. And like I said, I'd never seen the movie, but I absolutely loved that house.
Hot take. I think we might see a Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone house sometime.
That would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
I don't
That
know.
would be cool.
Who owns
my,
that?
No,
IP?
it's CBS.
It's
I know
CBS
that.
who owns that.
My only thing is, I actually really enjoyed the series. I thought there were. I'm not going to get into it. I enjoyed the
Yeah,
series.
let's not get off too off topic. Sorry,
yeah.
guys.
My worry, if you're thinking it's going to come as a house at Horror Nights, it was only on CBS All Access. It wasn't even on
right.
big CBS. So I don't know that it has the broad reach they'd be looking for in an IP. And it's not like, and if it's not like one of those large popular IPs, it's typically an older,
Right.
like cult classic one, which it doesn't meet that criteria either.
Right.
Yeah.
So as much as I'd like to see that, and I don't know if theme park rights maybe with Disney could become an issue too.
True. We'll definitely see Jordan Peele again.
Oh, yeah,
Of
no
some
doubt.
sort.
I really hope so.
Candyman.
Yeah.
Candyman
Is that
remake?
his next movie?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
I might
I
go
think
see
it's
that.
releasing next year too.
Okay, so
I could be wrong. It
that
could be
could
2021, but I think it's next year.
I might need to go see that then.
Yeah, I'm excited. I believe the new Candy or the old Candyman is on Netflix or one of those streaming services. All right, moving on. Sorry,
There
taking
you
up too much time.
All right.
So I do want to hear you talk about, well, not one of my favorite, my absolute favorite houses here, Graveyard Games.
Graveyard Games.
That was both of our number
Both of our
one.
number ones. That's true.
Graveyard Games is a very, very good house as well, I think. That is also another one that's similar to Us, where it kind of gives you a story when you're out in the queue with the projector there on the side telling you, like, on their fake Facebook page. It was pretty funny.
So
out
how, not to cut you off, but how far before you went into the house, did you do the Facebook Messenger? Did you know anything about that, or did you kind of go in blind?
Oh, I went in completely blind. The first thing I ever heard about Graveyard Games was in line and seeing it there. I just saw it was another house, and I was like, I'm going to do this house. So walking in, it was cool that they kind of gave you a little bit of exposition outside of there. And then once I'm inside, I'm like, oh, this is very interesting. The smell of spray paint. That's also another thing. Like, I didn't realize how much of the smell sense was going to be used here. I didn't realize they were going to have like strong smells throughout there, and that was a pleasant surprise, even if they were unpleasant smells like spray paint, which was
rotting
cool
flesh.
to go through there, and rotting flesh in certain cases, and burning Rome over different areas of that. But Graveyard Games, walking through there, very, very cool. That's not based on anything, is it?
Nope, original.
That's original?
Yeah.
They did a dang good job with that. Just walking through there, especially starting off in the graveyard and having like the two kids to like that called me. What did they call you? What does the little jerk at the beginning call you with the spray paint?
Dork.
He calls you a dork.
He calls me a dork, and I'm like, okay, like that's a little odd that this kid's calling me a dork. I mean, obviously am, but I don't like it. I don't like it when I like being praised at a theme park. I don't like being scolded.
So you got like kind of put off right from the
I
beginning.
got put off
You're
right
like,
from the
"Oh,
beginning.
no."
I was like, oh no, I wonder what's going to happen to him, and I did find out what happened to him.
Were you pleased with what happened to
Yeah,
him?
it was pretty cool. That was one that was also very scary to me as well. Like there were some houses that were very scary. Like Monsters wasn't very scary to me. Us was very scary to me, and Graveyard Games was not as scary as Us, but it was very good. And definitely being unique. They looked like they put a lot of love into that, and like having the different iPhones throughout there, like with the faces screaming on that. I thought that was a cool thing. The binaural audio going through certain scenes in there, just that following around you, it just sent chills down my spine just thinking about it. Very cool.
Can you pick out a favorite scene from that house?
I like the intro, actually, when you first walk
Really?
in. Yeah,
The
I
facade,
really like
Big
that.
fan of the
Yeah,
facade.
I really like that because it really sets the mood for what you're about to encounter. That and the untimely end of a dork kid. That was also cool as well.
Sid. He has a name. His name is Sid.
Oh, his name is Sid?
His name
Okay,
is Sid,
cool.
yes.
So of course his name is Sid. Like, that's like in the evil, like, what evil character name book? And they were like, oh, Sid. There we go.
He kind of sounds like Sid from Toy Story 2.
He
does
kinda-
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I know you're excited about this one because I call you Nico, Terror of the Yukon. How do you feel about Yeti?
Oh, Yeti. I'm a Yeti stan, my man. Oh, man. Yeti is so good. That's like, I think that it's very up there for me. It's probably the one that tells the best story from beginning to end. It sets the mood right off the bat as soon as you walk in, and you get the big house as you go through. The guys with the shot, and that's the cool thing, because like the scare jumps there, a lot of them are just the normal guys, kind of like Ghostbusters, where it's like kind of the not scary people that are jumping out at you, but then with the guns and stuff, very good. And just all the different scenes in there, and all the different Yeti scenes. The monster design is really cool. And it's actually cool being in Orlando to see a Yeti move for once, because being here, you don't normally see Yetis.
Shots
move.
fired.
Yeah, you don't usually see Yetis move in Orlando, so it was cool to see that.
Do you think that's lost among Universal Creative in that house? 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't think
I don't think it is.
I
I think it.
I didn't see any. I expected something direct,
Yeah,
like a disco ball, maybe.
yeah, that would have been
How
funny.
amazing would that have been?
Oh my god, if they would have done that.
But
Or-
I'm pretty sure that's in their head.
Or if there was like a cabin, so like Rhodey's cabin or something like that, that would have been funny.
A guy with a dread,
Dread.
one single dread.
There's a guy who has neck problems because his head keeps tilting to the side because of his earring.
All right, I think it's time to move on from Yeti.
Yeti is very good. It's cold in there, which is great on a nice humid night, because
yeah.
I went in early September, which was still very hot, and I wore jeans because I was an idiot. I was like, oh, it's going to be kind of chilly tonight, and then I was wrong.
I don't know why you thought that.
I don't know. I was in the mood to wear jeans that night. I don't know.
Depths of Fear.
Depths of Fear.
What did you think of Depths of Fear?
Depths of Fear I like a lot, and I know we have some disagreements on Depths of Fear here. So I like the monster design of Depths of Fear.
Well, there's a disagreement
There's
for
a
sure.
disagreement.
I really like that.
You and all of Twitter disagrees with you.
Yeah, well,
That's not
See,
true.
there's a lot of Twitter
I
who likes
like
to
the
call
monster
them
design.
fish boys.
So
and
it's
stand them
because
pretty hard. So
it's campy from the start. I feel like I'm going through and it's the campy house. I feel like this is what Killer Clowns should have been. Was something in this style. There was a lot more substance to this than I thought there was going to be. With that, I like the fake company Fathom Corp. I like that a lot. Mm-hmm. I really like sci-fi, and I was hoping to have more sci-fi elements like that. And that is kind of like the B-movie sci-fi, of course, with there. And some of the outfits that the captain and the other crewmates were wearing in Depths of Fear. Some really cool designs in there, like the mirror design, how when you look down, like kind of makes it look like you're looking straight down a little farther when it's really just a mirror effect. A lot of cool effects in there, and like I said, I love the character design of that. I really like Depths of Fear. I know that's probably not a favorite of many people, but it's one of my more favorite ones.
Now, do you know about the controversy in this house?
What controversy?
Unrelated to the costumes.
Oh, what's going on?
There's a dog whose name I'm not going to say because there are fights on Twitter and forums about what his real name is. So there's a dog who has been split in half by a door.
Did you even see it?
Did you see it?
There was a dog that was split in half by a door
right.
in there?
That's enough.
That's all we need to know.
It is
no.
if you don't know it, you're not going to see it.
Oh, no.
It's one of those things people have found to be offended by.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because, people don't want to be offended at Horror Nights. God, man.
That's why they got rid of Bill and... I hope not. Hey, I'm just saying. Don't need any further comments, but Bill and Ted Survey. It's happening. All right, moving on. You mentioned killer clowns from outer space.
Oh,
let's talk about the house.
So, killer clowns.
You don't have to be nice if you don't want to.
Oh, okay. Killer Clowns, I think, is a waste of space and it could be that it's just cursed by what the theater it's in. I mean, the theater that it's in is a waste of space because of Shrek 4D, and then I think Shrek 4D rubbed off onto Killer Clowns and turned it into.
To be fair, that space has put up some decent houses.
What other things have been in there?
So I know a lot of people. I was kind of middle of the road for me, but Krampus. And there was
Krampus. They had a Krampus house.
Oh yeah, and people love.
Did they have an Adam Scott character in there?
No.
For that? Oh man.
No, I don't believe.
I would have loved to have an Adam Scott walk around character. Universal needs to get on that. Outside of NBC, they need to have like a Parks and Rec meet and greet. That would be great.
But so no, not a curse. So any way you want to trash it, just put it on the actual house itself.
Yeah. So the set design is very bland, which I don't know if that's trying to mimic the aesthetic of the film or not. But it just felt bland, and the mechanics of it and the animatronics in there didn't seem like they were working quite well for me, or just didn't really get across. The big old clown, Clownzilla, yeah, he was cool, but then like some of the other rooms like that, it was like the cotton candy smell was terrible. The buns, I saw like there were interactive buns. I pressed it, it didn't do anything. It just seemed very cheap. It seemed jarring compared to the excellence that was done at all the other houses. Killer Clowns seemed jarring because it just did not seem like it belonged. It seemed like something I would expect from Wild Adventures in Southern
Did you
Georgia.
do it in the middle of the night, at the end of the night? Was it one of the first ones?
Did it around midnight.
Okay,
Yeah.
So it was near the end of your night when you experienced it.
Wait,
So
no.
you got to see a lot of other houses?
Actually, I had yet to do Us or Stranger Things.
Okay.
So Killer Clowns we were doing, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it was in the middle of it.
It was in the middle of the night with there. So I had already had experience with other houses in there. Killer Clowns is not good. I really hope a house they should be embarrassed by that. I really don't like Killer
See, a lot of
Clowns.
people like
I'm
it.
going to tell you something you might not be aware of,
Okay.
as you're not really into the Horror Nights community.
Yeah.
Killer Clowns is kind of a popular number one choice for people.
Yeah.
People like Killer Clowns?
They more than
people-
like it. They
yeah.
absolutely love it. Now, I must say, almost everybody I've seen who puts it number one or near the top are huge Killer Clowns fans.
Right. There's a
Okay, so
I
it scratches that itch. Okay,
Yeah.
I can. That's understandable, and that's respectable.
Which I enjoy the movie a lot. I still think the house was a little disappointing for me. But yeah, it's actually a very popular house. So I don't think they're too embarrassed about it.
And I think that's what's cool about these houses that I've seen, that it's very subjective.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it is art. I mean, what this is performance art. And if anybody says that it's not art, then they should be ashamed of themselves, because what these people do and these creators that they put in here and the effort that they do is beyond amazing. And just the brilliance that goes into there. It's the best part of performance art that could be.
All right, I think
except for Killer Clowns.
We have a couple more houses to go through. What did you think of Nightingale's Blood Pit?
Nightingale's Blood Pit. That is a very cool house. It seemed to be the second cheapest house for me.
Ooh,
It looked.
Explain what you mean by that.
So I could obviously tell that it was made of styrofoam. It seemed like it was made with reused sets and stuff, which I understand for that. I thought they did a lot with a little there. It's definitely better than Killer Clowns, and well, anything's better than Killer Clowns. But Nightingale's had a really interesting theme to that. Like, you don't really see like a Roman themed house, and I thought that was really cool to have something going through there. There is some definitely animal gore. It is the goriest of any house. Actually, yeah, maybe it might be the goriest of any house.
It's up there for sure.
It's definitely up there. With the horse, that was a little disturbing and stuff like that. And is that the one that has the rotting flesh?
It smells.
Yeah, that smell.
That one, they definitely use the smell a lot.
Yeah. Apparently, that's the only thing you can have for Rome. It's like, oh, there needs to be a burning smell to let people know we're in Rome, like that. So that's definitely a popular theme park thing to have. Nightingales was cool. Loved the character design in there. That's really up there for me. And it felt the most like a maze to me. A lot of them I felt like were hallways, like just, because they had to set up scenes and other stuff of that sort. But Nightingales felt like the one that was truly a maze. Like it was like, you just keep turning left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And it was cool because they could hide different jump scares around there. Nightingales was also definitely a scarier house for me, but very good. I really like Nightingales.
Now, I think if you went through the house now compared to as early as you did, you'd come out with a little different opinion. Let me hear what do you say the scare factor is on that house, kind of compared to the others?
So, saying on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not scary at all and 10 being super scary, I'd probably put it around a 7.
Okay.
7 or 8, maybe a soft 8, hard 7.
I think if you went through it again, you'd be closer to a 10.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, because, 10 is reserved... For me, that's, reserved for,
I think you might shit your pants.
Oh, really? Oh, my. Oh, well, definitely bring a second pair and put them in a locker.
It has a lot of scares that I think would get you well, personally.
Yeah. Y'all know how scared I was. Should we go into the house I thought was the scariest?
Yes, let's do it.
All right.
It's the last one.
Is this what you thought was the scariest?
It got me the most. It was House of 1,000 Corpses, or is it 1,001 Corpses?
1,000 Corpses.
It's the sequel of 1,001?
No.
Okay.
No.
I will say, number one deterrent on there, and this is also the oldest joke in the world, there were not 1,000 corpses in that house. So, points off from there. It was very scary. It was very scary in there. The character design was very scary. A lot of good jump scares. I think that was the one... That, I think, was the longest line we waited in that night. I think that was closest
I was
to
with you
an
with
hour.
that one.
Yeah.
That was, we probably waited 40 minutes, something like that.
So that was the longest one, and I guess I had forgotten what scares were for a while, and that house really got me, like all the different scares and stuff. And I know I'm not going to act like I'm scared, because the moment I start freaking out, they're going to start picking on me in the house, because no one else is scared but me right now going through there. So I was second in our little group, so I knew they were going to pick on me, and they started to pick on me, and I got super scared, and as soon as I saw the exit, I went around my friend in front of me, and I zoomed on out of there like a...
He ran down the entire ramp.
I ran down the ramp.
He did not stop.
Oh my goodness. It was very, very scary in there.
How do you feel about Dr. Satan?
Is that the dude with all the different arms and stuff?
Yes.
That was so cool. I couldn't believe they did something like that in there, and just like how he was kept in a room like that the whole time with that. And just good design overall. That's also that's an IP, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, by Rob Zombie, Mr. Zombie himself made that house.
Yep. Well, yeah.
Okay, but
he directed the movie, which was based off of the original house in Hollywood in 2000, actually. So the movie's based off a house.
Oh,
they
really?
were kind of built simultaneously, but the movie came out later because it got delayed.
Oh, well, it'll be dipped. I didn't know that. That's cool.
So is it?
I wish Rob Zombie was a good director.
Ooh, I mean,
that's a different story.
I trashed the movie last episode, so it's okay.
You're taking shots at our main audience here.
Yeah, no, we apologize.
There you go.
Do you felt it was easy to follow kind of like the plot in the movie itself going through the house, or not really? Could you kind of tell what was going on at all?
I could definitely kind of tell. Like there were like going through there. There was a phone booth outside, so I thought there was going to be some Bill and Ted element to it.
What do you think of the facade of this house?
Oh, I think
it's my favorite.
Oh, it's the best facade. Yeah. Oh, it's the best.
It's my favorite exterior facade.
Yes.
I have other facades that I enjoy once you step into the show.
It's the only one that really had one, unless you count the Us.
Death of Fear has kind of a facade.
Yeah, it's not much.
A little bit, yeah. That's a
but
little bit of
it is a facade. But yeah, I agree. It's the best exterior.
Better than a projector that says Universal Monsters.
But the indoor facade at Monsters. Oh, anyways,
okay.
All right.
So Corpses was very scary to me. That was probably the scariest I was.
That wraps up the houses. So quickly, as we're going through the entire event, just kind of go through the scare zones in your top 5, from worst to best. And just quick synopsis about how you felt about
it. I didn't go through Vanity Ball, which was the one that's over near where Terminator was.
Yep.
That's
unfortunate.
It was closed by the time we walked
Wasn't
through.
Wasn't able to go through there. Vikings is really cool, though. The Vikings one, whatever that is, the Vikings Undead. Mm-hmm. That's really neat through there. I like that, and I also like the little ceremony that they have up there with like the
Blood Eagle.
The Blood Eagle. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool. That's a cool name. I like the arcade. Or the Anarcade.
Yep.
I love the colors in there.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. That really gets me a lot because I love that like 80s like synthwave. I love all that stuff in there. It's a very good aesthetic for me. The Zombieland Double Tap was interesting.
Interesting way to put it.
It was interesting, I guess. Do the toilets? Is that technically part of that scare area?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was cool. I thought the toilets was a neat thing. Was a neat little scare.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
The porta potties, the 3 porta potties.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, so the porta potties are like lined up, and you could definitely tell that it's a scare. It's like don't open. So there's like a whole crowd around, and people are going up like to the door, being like gingerly putting their fingers on there to try to barely open it. And of course, as they barely open it, they come out and go, "Rawr!" and they're like, ah, and they run away, and it's just a good time for all there. I really like that. If that's part of a scare zone, that's probably my favorite. I definitely liked it better than Rob Zombie's Hellbilly Deluxe.
That's correct.
Yes.
Hellbilly.
Yes,
good.
that is a name of one of his first albums.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Was that the one with Thunder Kisses? 1969. Is that Rob Zombie? I don't know.
It's the one with some of his biggest hits.
I always get Rob Zombie and Zach Wilde mixed up.
Rob Zombie.
You're not a zombie head?
None of us are massive Rob Zombie
What I
fans.
would have liked better...
The Dragula. It's the one with Dragula.
Well, definitely it's Dragula. I know that.
Wait, what's Dragula?
The car.
The car.
Oh, that's not the Munsters mobile?
Yeah, close
that the Munsters get in and they play the music? Never mind. That's an old show. I used to watch a lot of TV Land as a kid. I would have liked maybe a Cranberries themed zone to Zombie, where it's just Zombie on repeat going through. That would be fantastic.
That's just driving in the car with me.
Yeah, in your head. Or maybe a House of the Rising Sun, because that's by the Zombies as well, so that could fit.
Okay, moving on.
Right.
Was that how you ranked them, like 1 to 4?
I would say Vikings, then Anarcade, then Hellbilly, then Zombieland.
Oh, okay.
I would say I do like the Zombieland, how they had that shot. Which, funny enough, talking about Wild Adventures enough on here, Zombieland was filmed at Wild Adventures. Funny enough,
wasn't that?
Yeah. So, and I don't know if Double Tap is going to be filmed there as well, because we're all going to go see, aren't we all? We all got tickets to Double Tap, don't we? Zombieland Double Tap, that movie that everyone's waiting for.
I'm actually excited for it.
Oh, you're good?
Yeah.
You said you watched Zombieland, right?
I haven't seen Zombieland. I really like Zombieland.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll have to give it a shot.
It's not a horror movie. It is a comedy.
Oh, it is a comedy?
Yes, it is definitely a comedy.
I like comedies, so I should enjoy that.
And to keep with time, you saw a show as well there. Just one.
Yes, I did. And I saw what is the greatest Lagoon show currently playing in Orlando.
Hot take.
And that is
I think most people agree.
I don't know if most people agree. You go to Epcot and ask that question and see how many people agree.
Yeah, it is definitely better than Epcot Forever. It's a Marathon of Mayhem. It is fan-freaking-tastic. Everything about it is great. I can't believe they actually put a good show in that lagoon. I thought I would never see a good show ever in that lagoon.
But is it better than Rivers of Light?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Oh my god, it's better than Rivers of Light. It actually has good music compared to Rivers of Light. Just the end part where it rewinds and it plays through back that. The lasers and the lights and everything with that show, it just like is shooting me right through my 80s style brain. Like I just want to get in my car and listen to Flock of Seagulls and just drive right down to Miami. That's all I want to do, and start just doing rails all on my way down. That's what I want to do there.
Turn on your Oingo Boingo mix.
Yeah, that's right. It's a dead man's party as I'm driving down and Dracula
down the turnpike. So what you're telling me is, if you return to Horror Nights this year, you will not be seeing Marathon of Mayhem again because you absolutely hated it.
Oh no, that is definitely something I would want to see. I guess I want to see Academy of Villains.
You guess?
You're
not curious.
I'm not really curious.
Why? Okay.
I'm not.
Do you know what it's about? Do you know? Like,
it's about story? Let me guess what it's about from the names. Okay, so I'm gonna say that it's about a school for villains and about how they change themselves.
Academy of Villains is the name of the dance company.
Right.
Okay,
so the name of the show is Altered States.
Yes. Okay, so Academy of Villains is a dance troupe, right?
Yes.
That tours America.
It started on America's Got Talent, I believe.
Oh, okay.
This is their 4th year at Horror Nights.
Oh, so they always have a Horror Nights show?
They have for the past several years.
Then where was Bill and Ted?
It was there.
It was there.
They used to be on the stage where Marathon of Mayhem entrance is?
Yeah.
The stage they had set up there.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It's first year, and then they were going to use it in 2017, but Irma ruined that. So they went to a little pop-up stage in front of horror makeup show.
Oh, so they do a residency here, and they probably put them up at Portofino.
Exactly what they do. Yes.
Go. Oh, they say at Portofino.
They do.
Cool.
Well, I never said anything.
There you go.
But it's about like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde story.
Okay, cool.
Worth checking out if you go again, for sure.
I'm a fan of the Jekyll Hyde. I mean, we all watched Arthur as a kid.
So let's just get into our top 10s. You want to do them all together? How we did last time? Just include Nico?
Yeah, let's have Nico start it out each time.
At number 10, Nico.
Number 10 is easy to find out. That is definitely Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
I never want to see that house ever again. It just was not good to me. And maybe it was because the person in front of me was drunk the whole time or something like that. It just... I don't know. I don't even want to give it a second chance. I
think you should.
It's the second worst thing at Universal currently.
It's worth giving a second.
It's third worst thing at Universal.
I think you need to go through every house at least 3 times to really have
at least 3 times. Yeah. Okay.
You probably won't this year, but that's okay.
Not this year. Next year, I'll definitely do that.
My number 10 has not changed from last week. It is House of Thousand Corpses.
That's your least favorite?
Yeah, it's my least favorite. I had a bad run through. I have not yet to go back through it. There was just all the scares were off. It was not scary. I didn't.
Yeah,
we talked about it last
week. We talked about this. My number 10 is also the same. I actually only have one switch this week, and just so you know, these are Nico's top 10. Everyone has one visit. Me and Mike, these are updated for week 5.
Right.
Yeah. My bottom is still Stranger Things. I don't like it. Moving on to Nico again at number 9.
Number 9, I believe, would be Stranger Things for me as well. I didn't hate the house. I don't know if I watched the show, I'd be a bigger fan of it, but really, it just didn't stack up to the rest of what I've seen there.
My number 9 is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It has dropped down. I believe I have it in spot number 8.
Good.
I'm actually starting to like this house a little bit better, to be honest with you. It just shows that I like all the houses above it. But yeah, give it a couple more shots, Nico. It's okay. It's a comedy house. It's not a scary house.
So this qualifies as comedy.
Yeah, I would call it a comedy house.
Yeah.
Do they always do a joke house every year?
Typically, there's at least one. This year, there's a couple.
Yeah.
Oh man, what if they did I know they would never do it, but like a Treehouse of Horror house.
It's been talked about. I don't know if it's been talked about on the creative side, but I will tell you, a lot of Horror Nights fans have talked about Treehouse of Horrors.
Oh my goodness, that would be
That
the
would be-
I think
best
one
house.
time it will happen.
If
The
that was
only
a
I
problem
think
now
it
is
could even work as a
Disney
scare zone,
owns
I
it,
think.
right?
Yeah, Disney owns that
Simpsons.
now.
Disney
I'm a
does.
big Simpsons nerd too, so I would have loved to have something like that.
You're a dork, actually.
Dork, yeah.
I
am a dork.
also have Killer Clowns at number 9, so all of our bottoms are... Well, we all had Killer Clowns near the bottom. I don't say our bottoms are similar, because Mike over here...
I have the Hank Hill button.
Similar bottoms.
I have a Hank Hill
I'm a little
button as well.
thicker. Sorry.
All right, Nico, let's carry on.
Okay, number 8. I think I would put probably House of a Thousand Corpses down there.
Yeah.
At number 8. Like I said, I mean, it's good. It scared me the most, but the rest of it just didn't really talk to me. It felt like there was a lot of good potential there. I just didn't like it as much as the others.
My number 8, Nightingale's Blood Pit. This one I'm actually starting to like a little bit more as well. That's why I raised up. You're right, it's getting scarier. The scares are kind of back to back to back to back. I like that part. Just some of the other, again, it just hasn't crept up. Maybe by the end of the year it will, but it's getting up there.
Yeah.
Number 8.
Awesome. Good to hear. It's moving. So number 8 for me is kind of where I start to get to that level where, like, man, I really like this house. It sucks I have to put it at 8, but the other houses are just so good this year. And that's going to be us. I won't go into detail. We talked about this last week for plenty of time.
Yeah. All right, cool. I guess, we're now on to 7?
Yeah.
7. My number 7 is Nightingales. I'm starting to get to the... On my list, I'm starting to get to the point where things are very close to each other for me. But Nightingales is the one where it's just it's a tier below what I think the other ones are. I mean, some people are going to disagree with me on this one, but Nightingales, as much as I enjoyed it through there, maybe if I go again, I'll probably enjoy it a little bit more. But there's definitely other houses I think are in a different tier beyond that.
Yeah, and my number 7 is now into houses that I start to really, really like. Not quite love yet. I would say that's number 6, but I really, really like this house. It's just it's such a good year this year. Depths of Fear. Depths of Fear is my number 7.
I also have Depths of Fear at number 7.
Oh, wow.
Another one for me that was kind of... It's tough to put it down there. It's really... Week 1, that was near the bottom, and it's been slowly making its way up, and I see it will probably keep climbing, to be honest. Just not there yet.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's currently my number 6, Depths of
Wow,
Fear.
look at that.
Okay. Good.
Like I said, this is all top tier for me. It is the lesser of the top tier ones, but I still definitely believe it belongs up there with all the others.
Okay, my number 6 is actually, now we're into my love. I love all the other ones moving forward. Yeti. Yeti is my, Yeti
So
is
good.
number 6.
For me, number 6 is Ghostbusters. That's one that, I don't know. I don't love the effects. I like the movie. I don't absolutely love it like a lot of people, but the sets are so
Has
nice.
that moved up on you?
It has.
what effects
It was number
don't-
6 last week, but it was down at number 8
Yeah.
at
What
some
effects
point every
You
week.
did not
don't
like
like
it
the
when you
effects.
first
I
went through
don't
it.
love a lot of the effects. I talked about this last week, so I'm not going into details again.
Oh, yeah,
but
that's
I actually
right, you
didn't
said
love
that.
a lot of the effects. I don't think they're bad. I just think some of them fall a little flat for me. But personal opinion, it's at number 6. I still think it's a good house. Nico,
Yeah.
number 5.
Well, that is my number 5, actually. Funny
Oh,
enough.
you're knocking me for number 6
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah, that's really funny that it's that. But no, I really like Ghostbusters a lot. I like it better than Depths of Fear. I feel like there was definitely a lot more money put into Ghostbusters than into Depths of Fear and that definitely shows in there. It would be high. I think if I go on it again, I think I would put it higher. If I go like towards I want to try to go in there with as little crowd as possible to try to get every show scene. If I do that, I think I'll see that. Might rank that higher.
So you made us do a Ghostbusters history segment that you led, and you only had the house at, what, number 5?
But that shows you how good the other stuff is.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. I think Mike definitely feels that way.
Yeah.
He loves everything from 9 up, basically.
pretty much. I don't love House of Thousand Corpses, but I love everything else.
So what's your number 5? That would probably be number 1 every year prior.
Yes, my number 5 is Universal Monsters.
Wow,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
still
Honestly, it would probably be number 1.
Did that move up for you a little bit? Or
Nope,
is
that
that
stayed the same.
Okay.
Yeah,
What?
it stayed the same. But yeah, honestly, from six on up, it's kind of stayed the same. But
Really? Wow.
Number 1 or number 5? I apologize. Number 5 for me is still House of a Thousand Corpses. So nothing new to report there. Still a really good house
Oh
for me.
man, I can't. Definitely disagreeing on that one. Number 4. Oh man, this is where it gets tough for me. Number 4. I should have thought about this beforehand. I think I'm gonna have to put Graveyard Games at number 4.
Wow.
As much as I know, I'm at a table full of graveyard stands here. Yeah, but that's nothing to knock on that house. It is absolutely fantastic. My top 4 are very close to each other. It's like really, they could even be ranked throughout there. Just from what I've seen and what I went through there, I really, really like Graveyard Games. The top 4 is really difficult for me, but unfortunately it feels like Graveyard Games is the one to take that.
My number 4 is Ghostbusters. It probably could be number 1 on any given week. It's just so good. I love Ghostbusters. We've talked about it. I'm an 80s true and true blood through my
Bustin'
veins.
makes you feel good. There you go.
I love to bust.
So top 4 for me is where, just like Nico, gets really, really hard. I think all of these are probably in my top 25 all-time houses.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
Maybe top 20. I don't know. We'll see at the end of the year. But
I think some of these might be my top 15.
Do
Do you know how many houses you've been through?
I could do the math, but I'm not going to right now.
Oh, yeah.
Have a Yeti at number 4.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
This is my first switch from last week. My first and only switch from last week. Yeti goes down to 4.
Okay, because you had it at 3 last
I had it
week.
at
That's
3.
right.
Something took its spot.
We're about to find out.
So number 3 for me is Yeti. I would have to say. I think that the night I went, Yeti was number 2 for me. But now that I sat back and I started reflecting on it a little bit more, Yeti's number 3. That's not to say anything bad about that house. Everything in there is fantastic. It's just that there are 2 other houses that I personally think are better than that, but very, very close to Yeti.
My number 3 is actually a change from last week. Stranger Things is dropping down a little bit. I had it at number 2, I believe, last week.
You did.
It is now number 3.
Okay. Any reason? Just what went above it was...
Yeah, I had a better run of one of the houses.
Okay.
And so it's, yeah.
So what took Yeti's place in 3rd for me? Nightingales. That has been absolutely... I think it's been as low as 7 in my rankings. Now up to 3.
Wow.
I think it was even number 8. Week 1, week 2, it was pretty low. We talked about this before, the intensity and the scares. I think the one thing about this house that kind of sets it apart from our houses is what's making it go up so far is the scare actors being so good at their job. They are absolutely killing it. And who knows, maybe it'll keep moving. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I would definitely be... That Nightingales would be a house I would be hitting again if I do go back.
So what you got at number 2?
Number 2.
Number 2, I have Jordan Peele's Us.
Okay.
I have that up that high just because of how I had probably the best run out of any house I went through was through Us. Everything in there, the sound, the sets, the characters, just everything in there was good, especially the sound.
And I'd like to say how impressive that is and how well that speaks of the house that an IP you haven't even seen the movie of is your number 2.
That's my number 2. And that goes to show that, not all IP is bad, because if it's executed well, you're going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that best house scare was missing that night when you went through Pluto. Pluto has been missing for a while, and I believe he was missing when he went through.
When you went through?
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't have
he
Pluto
didn't
either.
have Pluto. No. Pluto has been MIA for a while.
Yes, I still haven't. I have not confirmed. If you made it this far and are still listening to us, please tweet us at HHN365.
Is there a Pluto scare
Is Pluto still there, or is he gone for good?
Was he there at the beginning and then not?
He was when you go into the house.
Yeah.
The first corner there, and he would come at your feet and jump up.
I will personally recruit 5 or 6 people who can play Pluto, just going around Orlando looking if Pluto is gone. I will help you recruit
I
someone.
think Nate could play Pluto.
Nick could do it.
Nick could do
it. My number 2 is Us. Yes, it's still it's short and sweet. It's my favorite, one of my favorite IP. Well, that's definitely my favorite IP this year. I would say. Yeah, I wish it was a little bit longer, but it's amazing. Still, Pluto is missing, but it's still great.
Yeah.
Wow.
My number 2 stays the same. Universal Monsters. Again, I had a panic attack when talking about this last time. I just got too excited. Let's not start that again.
Yeah.
Nico,
Well,
what is your top spot?
It's Universal Monsters, by far. That's probably the one that sets it apart. I know I was saying like my top 4 is there, but really Monsters is number 1 for me. It is probably the best house, and it's the best horror house I've ever been in my entire life. Everything about it is fantastic. There's really not for me, I can't really find a fault with that house, and I've been searching for one, but I can't really find a fault with it.
My number 1 has not changed. Graveyard Games.
Yeah. My number 1, I want to say Universal Monsters, maybe top 5 all time.
Yeah.
Graveyard Games coming for the title.
Yeah.
Could be.
It's
honestly
up top 3.
I don't know if it's gonna
potentially
unseat my favorite.
Potentially, in the end, the best ever Horror Nights house.
It's
in
really
my
good.
opinion.
It's really good.
We'll see if it keeps picking up steam, because I mean, it's not a house that you kind of get tired of or it starts slacking. It's kind of like Nightingales, where like it still picks up in intensity every time.
My only problem with it is like I kind of like the really scary, gory houses, and it's really scary. It's not really gory.
No
I don't think
gore,
it's going to outseat my favorite house, because Saws and Steams was just a gore fest. That was just like literally blood dripping everywhere. It was an awesome house if you didn't get to hit it in 2011. Steampunk themed. It was really cool. But I think Graveyard Games could be my number 2 favorite house at the end. It's not there yet.
That's a hell of a compliment still for a house.
Graveyard Games is a great house.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic. I really like that one a lot.
I mean,
hopefully I'll be able to try it again.
This year, good first year to come, Nico. The house level is spectacular. You just heard me say my top 4 are all at the very least in the top 25, maybe top 20. All 4 of them. That says a lot.
Can we say
maybe
one more?
2 in top 5.
Can we add one more thing I think we didn't touch on is the special food that I didn't know that was going on there. There was some really special stuff there, and I know there was this thing, like it was humid outside, and I could barely read the sign because I was standing far away from it, but I swore I saw a sign for canned beef here. It turned out being I swear, I was like, it's canned beef. They're like, no, you're lying to me. I'm like, no, I swear it said canned beef. We got there, it was canned beer. So,
it was Pacifico.
It was Pacifico
at
canned beer.
Amigos at Starport Mall.
But everything,
by the way,
the special food looked good. The corn is a little dry to me, so I didn't really like that. But those sweet potato s'mores fries are fantastic. It's like one of the best theme park foods I've ever had. Is that right there?
Can we talk about the grossest thing I've ever had in a theme park?
Yeah, what's that?
It was waffles and syrup smoothie or a slushie.
Oh,
did you have that?
I did have it.
Oh,
It was
no.
I should have known. It was gross. It was gross.
It was $5.
I'm sorry, whoever came up with that. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it was $5 and about $4.85 in the trash.
We walked through Graveyard Games. It was a walk on. We had about 3 sips between us, and it went straight to the trash.
Oh
once
my
we got to
God.
Graveyard
It's
Games.
really that bad? Oh, man.
Horrid. And I will tell you, out of those 3 sips, I did not have a majority.
I had 2. He had 1. I tried to give it 2 sips.
I'll give it another one. Oh, my.
All right, well, Nico, in the name of time, we're going to have to wrap this up.
All right.
We really, really appreciate you joining us. We're happy
thanks.
Yeah, thanks for
that
Happy
you
to be here.
finally checked out Horror Nights. We're
Yeah.
happy you really enjoyed it.
I really did.
Going to get a Frequent Fear Plus next year.
Is that the one that goes through
Fridays.
October?
Yeah, just only missing Saturdays.
That includes Fridays?
That includes
I
Fridays.
will probably be getting that pass then.
Will you be back this year, you think? What are the chances?
I'll have to see towards there. Does it get really busy towards the end of the year?
Yes.
Like, if I'm
It
going...
does. But you're still able to go, like, if you go after work, you could definitely, especially if you get off earlier, you could do stay and screen and knock, like, you could literally in, like, half an hour hit Monsters, Graveyard Games, Blood Pit, and Depths of Fear.
One thing I've wanted to talk about, and we haven't, the crowds have not been as crazy as they have in years past. I don't know if that's crowd management or they have 10 houses now. Oh, and they have this Lagoon show and they have so much else going on. But the lines have not been too bad, even on Saturdays. We used to get like 3-hour lines. We have not seen that this year. I think moving forward, we might start seeing that because we're getting closer to Halloween. But honestly, the lines have not been too bad this year.
Yeah, no, especially now that we're into October here, and it's still not terrible.
And they're open till 2, right?
Yes,
On
that's
Fridays they're open till 2?
Correct.
And
I think-
it's probably going to be a Friday when I have to go. It's
Yes.
going to be my next time.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, Nico. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I think we are going to wrap up. Thanks so very much for listening for a second show. If you have any feedback, we didn't get a lot of feedback. I guess, I mean, we weren't on iTunes.
Yeah, most of you probably haven't heard the first episode because we were on probably your favorite podcast provider as of like 2 days ago.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Yes.
we apologize. Unless you listen on Spotify.
I'm going to apologize for the first episode. I would say it's... it was a first episode.
It was a good episode. No, it was a good. You're selling yourself short. No, it was a very good episode. It was very well put together, and I'm very happy to be on this.
Give us 5 episodes. If you hate us by 5 episodes, you can stop listening. But give us 5. Give us 5 episodes.
That's true. But give us 5 stars on iTunes either way.
Either way.
And definitely make sure to follow.
Definitely give us feedback too. All right.
And if they want to find you on Twitter, what's that again?
That's at HHN365. On Instagram, also HHN365. We're active, or try to be active, on both. Reach out to us by either platform. We want to hear feedback. We want to hear reaction to the episodes. If you want to talk to us, be on the show. We want you on the show.
Yeah, we do want you on the show.
That's the whole thing. Yeah. We talked about this last week. We're not here just to talk to ourselves. We want to talk to the community as a whole.
I want to do a call-in show.
You want to be on the show.
Yes.
Be on the show. I want to take you.
Yes, I want a couple of segments of short little where we interview people about maybe your favorite thing. So I want a call-in show, and I want it before the season ends. So sometime before October ends, I want to have at least 5 or 6 guests. So reach out to us. We're going to have a call-in show here pretty soon. Well, we're going to wrap up our show. Thanks very much for listening, guys, and we'll see you in the streets.